Pakistan is textile country and the world's fourth largest cotton producer and third largest cotton user. Almost 10% of the world's cotton is cultivated in Pakistan, an economy driven by a fully integrated textile industry.
The real strength of Pakistan has been the vertical nature of the industry, not single factories, but as a country. We grow our own cotton, we process it, and we finish it.
This industry accounts for approximately 27% of total industrial output, absorbs about 38% of industrial labor force, and contributes around 60% to export earnings.
Aptima members employ 3 million people directly, which supports at least 20 million people or 20 million households in Pakistan.
The area we are located in is very remote, and we are proud that we have employed about 1,500 women, which we think is a major change in the area we live in.
Despite its impressive contribution at the national level, the share in the world exports of textile and clothing is marginal, and for clothing in particular, Pakistan's share is almost negligible. The share of textile in the exports of Pakistan have declined from 67% in 1997 to 55% in 2008.
In a sense, the last 20 years, we haven't been able to get our share of foreign investment and export growth out of Pakistan. The direct beneficiaries of this have been countries like India, China, of course, that is the paramount gainer. Then there has been gains made in Sri Lanka.
Today, Pakistan's share of global textiles market is an insignificant 4.1%, down from 9.3% in 2001.
I think our knitwear industry was absolutely rightly poised for the post-quota scenario. And then happened 9/11. And I do remember that whereas my marketing people used to be fighting with me that there is not enough production, and we were doing huge quantity at that time, virtually 500,000 units a month at that time.
Because of the security concerns, we have had difficulties in convincing our customers in the US particularly, and also in Europe, that the supply chain won't be disrupted and that we will be able to produce and supply goods on time. So 9/11 has had a major impact on our businesses.
2006 was most of the industry went closed down. 2006 and part of 2007. That is when the industry couldn't sustain anymore itself.
At an average household occupancy rate of 5 people per household, up to 70 million people in Pakistan may be deriving their livelihoods primarily from the textile sector.
When
the factories were operational, the average pay was rupees 6,000 per month, and one could get another rupees 1,000 per month for overtime. Medicines and basic necessities were also provided. My husband and I used to work together. Now that we are out of jobs, our children are also not studying. After the factories were closed, we did not have any income, so our children could not go to school. 60% of the total workers employed in the textile garment industry in Pakistan are women. This is an additional payoff, as these women tend to have fewer children and invest in their education.
मेरे 3
I have 3 children. The eldest daughter is in college and my 2 sons are in the 10th grade. If this factory shuts down, it will be very difficult for us to continue their education. As it is, nearly all other factories around us have shut down. Just as the other factories have shut down around us, God forbid that the same should happen to this one. If it does, I will not be able to run my household. We pray that this factory gets so much business that they can open another 3 or 4 of such factories. Greater access to the US market for Pakistan's textile industry will result in Pakistani exports to rise from 3.1 billion at present to at least $15 billion over the next 5 years.
Pakistan textile industry has a surplus of dyed fabric, $1 billion, which is going to those countries which have FTAs with America and European Union.
When we talk of market access, our access is to people who were here prior to 9/11, and that's a very small group of customers. So you can see how we have been denied the markets. People cannot visit Pakistan, and people from Pakistan cannot visit these countries because of new visa restrictions.
We would request our friends in America to help us to get us a market access. The reason for that is very simple, that rather than spending money on our border areas where we are having insurgency, and this insurgency is mostly because people have no jobs.
One great service that the American legislators and government could provide to us would be the duty-free access of our textile goods to America.
Only 3% of the United States imports regarding clothing and other form of textiles is covered by Pakistan.
No aid can give that feeling of fulfillment which our people will have if we are able to get this market access and we are able to trust the businessmen of Pakistan by only providing them that market access which is available to at least 80 countries by the US in different treaties and different forms. So what we are seeking is to be only the 81st country having that market access.
Ignorance and poverty are the greatest friends of the terrorist. Economic development brings jobs, improvements in health and education standards, and overall rising standards of living, bringing a new sense of hope to turn aside the false appeal of terrorism. The link between trade and economic development is well established. As people become better educated and more prosperous, they will tend to oppose the arbitrary and theocratic rule promised by the terrorists as a threat to their prosperity and freedom.